Smile. Hi. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Julia Royson of BK Royson Publishing, Royal Media, and the Book Business Boss, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. Celebrating today. Poets everywhere. Yay! We are poets and we know it. And we want you to know it too, as well. So, get your pen and your paper, get your phone out, all that good stuff, and help us celebrate these poets. No matter when you're listening, whether it's live right now, welcome, 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 or listening on the replay much later. So we're thrilled and excited. We have a full slate of poets and all that good stuff. So you're going to hear some fantastic poetry. You're also going to get some links to where you can purchase and support their books, as well as follow them on social media so that you'll be able to not only support their book, but follow them around the country when they go live, when they're at events. Send people who are in their neck of the woods. If you can't get there, share it, send it, all that great stuff. So I just have an interesting observation when I was getting ready this evening, and I was hoping I would be able to find it. And so one of the things about publishing and writing that sometimes that we often do is that, well, I know I do. If a book doesn't sell or if something happens with a book, I'll change the inside and I'll change the cover too as well. So I have a great affinity for poetry because that was my very first book. I uploaded very recently book 91. So I've written 90, I uploaded 91, I'm finishing up 92. But I want you to see, those of you who are watching on the video, my very first book. I was so excited. That was 2007. All new season in word, inspirations for divine living. And I was so young on that cover. Oh my goodness, it's probably out of print right now. But and then I fell out with the then publisher that I had, and I started my own company in 2008. And then I went to this, still had me on the cover, but I changed it up. So I sing. So it had not only the book, but I had the CD with it, and I had the DVD with it. Yeah. And then I went to Hawaii, and I loved it so much. I changed the cover again to this. Now, if you go out on my any of my online stores, you'll notice that those covers don't exist anymore at all because I changed it again. And so that's the business side of me. I made it fresher, I made it brighter. I made it about seasons, exactly what I said it is. So that is the my ode to poetry, and I'll read some at the end. But super ecstatic to actually be on and celebrating poets. And so we're gonna start bringing them on one by one, and you'll have an opportunity to actually hear them. And then I'll give you their information. If you have questions, be sure and jump in and send questions. We'll try to get to that at the end. But super excited for everybody to be on. We're gonna start off. Let's go to Boston first.
Oh,
There she is. All right. Miss
the
Leslie.
host on me. Okay, I'm muted. Yay. Hi.
Hi, how are you? Okay, go ahead,
Yes.
introduce
How are
yourself,
you?
tell us where you're from,
I'm
and then go
wonderful.
ahead with your two poems, reading them.
Sure. My name is Leslie Guidi. I am comp- the owner of Orange Justicity LLC. I am from Boston, Massachusetts. I am an author. I am a worshiper. I am a poet. I am a jokester. I I was also deemed a hope pusher. I'm a speaker. They call me the hope pusher because I like to make sure that people become their better selves. So I'm going to read out of my poetry book called I'm 25. The reason why I call it I'm 25 is because people ask me how old I am, and I tell them I'm 25. And the poem the first poem I'm gonna read is called God Says It Is Me You Are Looking For. Why are you looking back? Why are you looking left and right? You should be looking up. What you need is right in your sight. I know you have been hurt before. So for others, you have closed the door to your heart. God says, I have to tell you something. It is me you are looking for. You were married, and your marriage you thought you would last. You were having trouble forgetting everything in your past. God is waiting for you to cast all your cares. He will give you comfort, and his love he will share with you. God says, it is me you are looking for. I pray for you to get to the place where you stay in God's face. I pray you would see his ways. I pray that you will hear God say that it is me you are looking for. So that's the first poem. The second poem is called My Song. I wrote this many, many years ago. I didn't even date it. So here it goes. When I first start my song, I had no idea what it would sound like. I just stood stage fright in front of the mic. I stood there forgetting when to come in. Before it began, I was hoping it would end. Something inside of me told me to get a grip, lifted up my hands, and I began to worship. All of a sudden, a familiar beat started to resound. Words started flowing so much easier now. I started to get into my element. The song was beautiful. It was God sent. I started to understand the rhythm of my life by listening to my heart and hearing Christ. It all became clear. I came to know that song. When I sing it, I forget all about all that gone wrong. Now I'm the happiest I've ever been. When tribulations come, I'll just start to sing my song. Jesus is my Lord. He's the reason why I sing. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, watch out. National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses coming on through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
I sang there in there.
Yes,
No
ma'am.
problem.
Coming up next is Miss Vivian Griffiths.
I'm I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I live in Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm a retired nurse practitioner and still licensed to practice. So I volunteer for 2 free clinics for the uninsured. That's my passion, to help people who are suffering. Also, I have a business, which is ariseandgoforth.com, and I coach life coaching for young women. So I just want to give a shout out to my husband, who has been so supportive of me in my solitary time with writing, which is many, many hours. And the title of my book is going to be soon to be published, is called Black in the Day, and BLAK is not a typo. It is just a play on words when we say in the Black vernacular, back in the day. So I made the title of my book Black in the Day, Acknowledging an Extraordinary God in an Ordinary Life. So I will be reading 2 of my poems. My poems are varied in creativity with call and response, or sometimes a lot of social justice messages, as well as some humor. So I hope that you enjoy. I also add quotations as a reference to my poems. And the first poem I'm going to read, I've rewritten it. I wrote it first time years ago, and it just aligns very ironically with bad news that we heard yesterday, where my husband's cousin in Philadelphia, who we did not know, a young man who was murdered by an assault gun perpetrated by a security guard. So the quotation that I have that aligns with this poem it says, "No one can hear a broken drum." And that is a proverb from the African country of Uganda. The title of my poem is Personal Percussion. Drum, drum, drum. The syncopated beating in my head as the squawk box blasts in my living room or dying room, with media reports of another brother fallen dead. Yellow was never my favorite color, but even less now that vinyl police tape cordons off the sidewalk covered with crimson red splotches staining the pavement. No, I don't know him, but nevertheless, he's my blood through ancestral ties. So a piece of my heart was pierced and also bled as my head pounds drum, drum, drum. Chalky silhouettes outlined on pavement from the remains of a great or greatest potential warrior, statesman, educator, doctor, nurse, lawyer, scientist, parent, pastor, mathematician, engineer, business owner, politician, family member. The human remains to preach a silent eulogy to the spirit of one claimed prematurely and needlessly and presumptuously by one or more who held no regard for the premise of the God-given potential of us all for generations to come. Drum, drum, drum. As I cradle my head in my hands like a mother trying to comfort her child, the pulsation continues rhythmically pounding. And despite my vision of a strong Black nation and my attempts to soothe the vibration, it now reverberates through my fingers, up my arms, tightens my shoulders, as if to say that this weight needs to be carried, not buried. Who knows? Will the men in blue seek the truth about this brother man? Another Black warrior succumb to crime? The silence is deafening of those who know the truth. So, my devastated heartbeat is accompanied by the rhythm of the drum, drum, drum. The squawk box spits out what is put in. Gut-wrenching cries of family and friends give credence to the community's grief. If the thirst for justice is not quenched, but delayed, the parched spirit of those yearning to purge the streets of yellow tape and chalk drawings will continue to fight. Fight for the lives of this and future generations. So the ancestor spirits creep into my head when they feel a need to echo the message of the drum. My second poem is called A Joyful Noise. And this is dedicated to the African American youth who've been stereotyped or victims of racial profiling. And the quotes that I align with this poem are from a Negro spiritual that says, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine." And the title also references Psalm 100 that says, "Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing." A joyful noise. Make a joyful noise, O ye children. The devil is a liar. Telling the media you're all killing each other, dropping out of life, dissing father and mother. There are a multitude of you who are truly first rate, working toward goals and knowing how to wait, with your eyes on the prize. Make a joyful noise, all you children. The word is finally out. Evil wears sheep's clothing, disguised in stolen cars and sultry attractions in local bars. Drug money, drug minds, fast cash, easy cash, stolen cash to make your morals crash. Keep your eyes on the prize. What makes you different than all the rest? Why do you strive for the very best? It's the Christ in you, that Holy Spirit glue that keeps you from losing your head when you're close to the edge. Make a joyful noise, all you children. You've got to spread the news. Before many more are lost, being sacrificed at any cost. Tell me how you got over when things were going under. Tell how you trusted God's power, His grace, and His wonder. You're fulfilling His purpose, and you want others to join in making a joyful noise. Thank you.
Coming up next, coming up next, coming up next, coming up next. Just in case you missed it, I'm sorry. Miss Leslie Guidi was first, and then Miss Vivian Griffiths was next. Oh yeah, y'all got me. Y'all got me all day long. And be sure and find them on social media. Be sure and follow their websites and all that good stuff. Miss Vivian Griffith's book should be out very, very soon. So I need for you to follow these people on social media so they'll know not only when their books come out, but when you can meet them live and in person, or where you can hear them on their live streams. And so super excited for all that's happening in the poet world tonight. Today we're celebrating National Poetry Month. Yay! I'm super excited about it. Okay, so coming up next, Miss Zenobia, you ready? Let's do this.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? Thanks for joining in. I'm known in Philly as Zenobia the Poet. I've been writing poetry all my life since I was a teenager. Currently, I have one book available. Get in there. Reflections of Us is available on all the major booksellers. It's my first book. I call it my COVID baby. A lot of things bad happened with COVID, but I was able to get my book finally published. I was so happy. After years and years of pieces of paper with poems on it, I finally got it in print. It's been received very well. And I'm a full-time writer officially. That's all I do is write and market my books. I love it. I love it. I'm going to read the lady my name is Zenobia. This lady right here, my mom, she gave me that name. That was my middle name, and it has become my pen name. And this poem, I wasn't going to read. The hardest part about me doing this is trying to figure out which poems to read. And since she inspired this first book, I'm going to read this one. It's entitled Grits and Gravy. She rose every day and she made the best grits and gravy. She washed my clothes, sometimes in the tub. I remember her most in the kitchen, but sometimes in poodle skirts, all dressed up, her hair cut short with shiny lips. She had a spirit like sunshine, and she was always on her way somewhere, down south, church, work, bed. She never really settled down. In between the comings and goings, she loved me so. She carried me through. She loved me. She did her best. So here it is. I have quite a few photographs inside the book. I have a very beautiful sketch of George Floyd. So like I said, look for it on Amazon. And since mine are short, hopefully you'll let me read one other short one from my book. It's called
Go right
Enough.
ahead. Go right ahead.
Enough. This is for all my beautiful Black sisters out there, because this rings so true. It's called enough. We always want more, do more, give more, say more, mean more. We feel as if we are never enough, but we have always been enough. Enough for our freedom, enough for breath, enough for ourselves. We have always been enough. And I definitely have to give thanks and gratitude to all the poets that came before that have inspired me. People like Andre Lorde, Lorde. She was a very spirited poet from the 60s, very controversial. And she wrote in the style of poetry that I write in, which is prose. My next book, which should be out in the summer,
Yay!
yay, is entitled Prose and Light. When I read my poetry, I just want to be a light. I want to spark something. I want you to feel something. This poem in Prose and Light was written a while back, but it's dedicated to all the children of war. It's entitled, and you see it's a manuscript, yay, 20 Little Pieces. I did not know you. I had not touched your hand or wiped your mouth or held you in my arms when you were sick or seen you laugh and play. But the mother in me heart breaks for you. I cried for you today, so much life ahead. But today you play with angels and you dance among the stars. And today for me, 20 little pieces of my heart were chipped away. And I will always miss you, for you are every child, and I am every mother. And today I cried for you.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
One of my girlfriends said, "Oh, you made me cry reading that to me." But I know everybody watches those images on our flat screens. And as a poet and a writer, I am so touched by the circumstances of this country and the world today.
Right.
And I think the poet's job is to bring light to what's going on.
Yeah. I highly agree. My first experience to poetry was Langston Hughes, and so that so that was a part of it I was like a little confused of, but I valued that so much, and it shined so light of the time he lived in and the time I live in, and it's still happening still today. Right. It doesn't matter.
Our poetry will always reflect the times we live in.
Right.
For sure.
But it will transcend from generation to generation.
For sure.
Ms. Zenobia Lundy, thank you so much for being with us. Find her on Instagram, Zenobia the writer, and find her books on where the major book outlets where they're sold, Barnes and Noble and Amazon.com. Yay!
Yay!
Coming up next. Miss June Harden, test 1, 2, 3.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yay! We can. Go right ahead. Introduce yourself.
I was on my laptop and I am still not dealing with it good, so I'm now on my cell phone.
Okay, good. Go for it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's hear some poetry.
Yes, my name is June Harden. You might just see my last name, but my name is June Harden. I am the 12th of 17 children, and being my mother's 12th, and I was born in June, my first name was a given, okay? She was tired, and she had none of it, all right? So I was born in June, and that is my name, June. I was born in the evening, so I'm June Eve Harden. I am a motivational speaker. I am a minister of over 35 years, a Bible teacher. I am a poet by accident, because as a child, I would just write whatever hurt me. I was very shy, and whatever trauma I suffered, I'd write about it, and somehow it would just all come out in rhyme. But in my latter years, I just began to realize people like to hear what I had to say. And so as a kid, I started writing, and then people would read it, my teachers at school, and they'd have me to get up and read it. I was very shy, but when the whole class And then the whole school auditorium clapped for me. I said, I must have something going on. So people begin to ask me to write for, and that's what I do. I write for. This is a book that I have on Amazon.com called Any Occasion Greetings. People said, will you write something for my wedding? I've written for multiple weddings. I stopped when everybody was getting divorced. But anyway, I digress. I write for anniversaries, and I write for baby showers, and I write for everything. And most of the poems that I have in this book, which is well over 30 poems, are for occasions. So if you purchase this book, you're going to find something for every occasion, for mothers with disabled children, for mothers who have lost a child, okay? And I make it rhyme with relevance. And so the first poem I'm going to do, this is talking about children that are born into families where things are not always okay. And I use myself a little bit as an experience, okay? A lot of times parents, when they're at each other, they don't realize because your babies are small, you think they're not listening, but they are listening. So I wrote this from my own personal experience. As a young girl, I wrote this poem called Daddy Said. All right, I'm going to read it for you. I wrote this. Daddy said that it's okay if we want to cry. Mommy's gone and we're alone, and we really don't know why. She had been having headaches. She said her blood was tired. But Daddy said she's about to get fired as his wife. Sorry, but Daddy said she should, okay, let me start it over. All right. Daddy said it's okay if we want to cry. Mommy's gone and we're alone. We really don't know why. She had been having headaches and said her blood was tired. Daddy said she should quit her job before she gets fired. But Mommy had never left the house. She was there all day. She made our beds and washed our clothes and put our toys away. She walked us to the school bus and walked us home from school. She helped us with our homework, and as soon as we were through, she made sure we had supper, and after we were fed, she read to us and kissed us, and then she tucked us in bed. And sometimes late at night, she'd check on us one last time. She turned the lights off in the hall when she knew that we were fine. And it was the same most every day from beginning to end. When morning came, we'd wake up and do it all again. But sometimes late at night, while I was laying in bed, it wasn't real loud, but I could hear the things Daddy said. He told Mommy that she was fat and needed to lose some weight. And she needs to stop complaining because he stays out so late. He told her, I pay all the bills while you stay home and eat. And he said she shouldn't be surprised if he decides to cheat. Mommy would stay in the room and we'd hear Daddy go downstairs. I thought I heard her crying, but Daddy didn't seem to care. But first thing in the morning, when Mommy helped us make our beds, she had no way of knowing that we heard what Daddy said. Our clean clothes were ready, and she would smile at us. She fed us breakfast just before she put us on our bus. But one day when we got home on the bus, no one was waiting there. We walked home all by ourselves and no food had been prepared. There was no help with our homework, and Daddy had to rush home. He had tears in his eyes and he said, kids, your mama's gone. She had packed a bag that morning and only took a few things. She left a note and said, I love you kids, along with her wedding rings. There was spray paint all over Daddy's clothes. Their wedding pictures was broken. The message she left was louder than any words that were ever spoken. We never found out the whole story, but gossip began to spread. But I'll always believe she just got tired of the things Daddy said. All right? That's one poem that I wrote, and that's what I said. Whenever I was frustrated or frightened or whatever, I just start writing, and it would come out. My heart would come out on paper, but often in rhyme. So I'll tell you before I do my next poem, you can find me on YouTube. It's The Poet June Harden, The Poet June Harden. I'm on YouTube. And I'm on X or Twitter and so forth. I'm on Facebook. You can find me. All right. Now, this Mother's Day is coming up in May. And I wrote this poem more than 25 years ago, y'all. And it's simply describing mother. It's describing mother. And I want to first give a shout out to Dr. Julia Royston, because she helped me put this together and get it ready for the world, this book of poems. All right. This poem that I wrote is dedicated to mothers, coming up next month, and it's entitled Mother Is. All right. Mother is. A good father provides for his health, for his household. He puts family ahead of himself. He's usually the family security, but sometimes mother's everything else. She's a live-in maid who never gets any tips, a seamstress, a waitress, a chef. She's a gardener, a carpenter, a laundry woman who rarely receives any help. She's a 24-hour psychiatrist, bread maker and breadwinner too. And even though she seems unfair at times, she only wants what's best for you. She seldom gets the credit that's due her, but she's faithful just the same. And if that child doesn't turn out right, guess who bears the blame? Mom is even a private detective, honey. No matter what you try to hide, she'll investigate and expose you, but yet remain by your side. The list goes on of what mother is, but she's not just a pamper and please us. She gives correction as well as affection and will teach us the love of Jesus. After all, how do you expect a child to have faith, trust, and believe and put confidence in an invisible God when he can't trust the one that he sees? The job of mother is so critical. In her hands is a newborn soul. And although you don't know the outcome at their birth, that's when mom's in control. Train up a child in the way it should go is what I heard the Bible say. You see, Mother's Day is more than just the second Sunday in May. I love you, Mom. Rest in heaven.
Come on. And the snaps went up. Woo-hoo! So, I've been hearing Minister Evangelist June Harden do poems with that same rhythm and rhyme for the majority of my life. So it has been, it was a pleasure and an honor for me to help her put her book together because, I'm all about monetization. I'm all about, I want you to read it. And yes, we love it. But I need you to go to the back table and buy her book. Hello. And so, so I need for you to be able to find any occasion. And then she has another book that's not poetry, but it's bug spray. You'll enjoy that too. You got to go find out why and what that's all about. Miss June Harden, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as always.
God
Y'all
bless
stay
you.
right
Love
there.
you.
I love you too. Coming up next, let's go to Alabama. Woo! We was in Arkansas a second ago. Let's go over to Alabama. Come on through. Woo!
Hello.
Come on, Montgomery. Let's do this here.
How are you this afternoon? It is so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Oh my. On the road again, maybe soon. We'll see each other soon.
We'll see.
Take it away, love.
Hello, all. I am Vernette Nettles, and I am in Montgomery, Alabama, as Dr. Julia just said. And I write in multiple genres. I write inspirationals, devotional books of prayer, children's books, and I also have this book of poetry. As you can see, I can be found at my website, www.vernettcnettles.com, and my website of prayer, www.vcndailypray.com. But let's talk about poetry today. This is my book, Unspoken Word, Life's Heartfelt Whispers. I'm going to read two poems. One I'm going to read out of my book, and then one I'm going to read that is a new one for 2024. This poem, Duality, was written during a time of, we'll just say, crisis. at work, and there were a lot of things swirling, and there was a lot of uncertainty. But the one thing that's always certain is God and God's strength. And the one thing that is always certain, or you should always be certain of, is who you are and what you've done. And so sometimes we live in a sense of duality because we know what we've done and we know what's going on. But then our sense of certainty comes from Christ. So this is titled Duality. In the middle of a storm, I found peace, a scary peace. Was I peaceful because I was yet afraid as I raged against a turbulent present? Or peaceful because I was yet taken care of, yet peaceful I remain? And I relish in it. I relish in the calm, in the security, in the blanket. Yet there is much to do, so much to understand, so much to learn. So why am I here? Is it karma? Is it that I am needed in a better place? Is it karma? Is it that I needed to feel the pain I inflicted? Or is it just the pure machinations of an earthly vessel? And was the goal of destruction, and was the goal destruction of the one, of the spirit, or of the soul? And where is the lesson? Did I lack the humility? Did I lack the ability? Did I lack? What is to be learned or gained? How do I get there? How do I know that I've arrived? The game is afoot, yet I see no one near. Am I winning, or am I behind the others who traverse these highways of life, of detours, of change? My joy shifts, my confidence shaken, yet my peace remains as the Spirit whispers softly to my soul. I sit in the space that has no walls, that has no boundaries, and I ponder, what a great ride to have tasted the joy of dreams. What a ride to have triumphed over sadness, and oh, the quest to know there is more of the journey to come. So the storm winds have blown away the glorious coat of today to reveal the grand grace of tomorrow. I am lost, yet found, sad, yet hopeful, tired, yet energized, watchful, yet seeking. The duality bewilders me, the calm unnerves me, yet I trust in the power of the Master to know the path he designed just for me. The Master, who knows the obstacles and the burdens, who strategically places them so that we may lean, and in the leaning there is strength. So therefore I go, blindfolded to the path, focused on the faith. So therefore I go, hand in hand with the Master, for in the middle of this storm, I found peace. And once the storm stopped raging, and the person who was trying to move me from one position to another, once they moved me, that's when God allowed me to see all the rest that he had for me. And that's when I started actually getting the writing and the publishing moving. So yes, there was certainly a duality, but there was also a promise at the end of that storm. So I am forever and always grateful for that place of duality. The second poem is called Always Happy Valentine's Day. I wrote that one this year. This is a 2024 poem. One day cannot capture the treasure that is you. Your love is my center, my place of peace. And as I spend today relishing in your love, I am reminded not of your gifts, but of your hands reaching out to lift me, to spur me on to my dreams, of your feet choosing to walk in my shoes to carry me when I am weary, of your back supporting me and my need to make good choices, of your shoulders broad enough to weather my tears and strong enough to bear the weight of our lives together. One day cannot capture the treasure that is you, built by God, framed with purpose, and chosen just for me. Thank you, God, for this thy gift, my love. Happy Valentine's Day. And I must say, when I wrote that, people thought, did you get a boyfriend? And I thought, no, but that's the kind of love I'm looking for. Someone who reaches out to lift me, understands when I am weary, supports me in my choices, and that their shoulders are broad enough to carry the weight of our lives together, because we are in this together. And then the last thing is a haiku. I thank God for words that bring joy to the soul, to lift a seeking heart. And it is my prayer always that the poetry, the prayers, and anything I write touches the heart of others, because this life is not designed for us to walk it alone. It's designed for us to walk it together. Thank you, Miss Julia.
Ooh, we looking for that man, Lord. Boaz, hallelujah. Boaz, where's he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? No, I love it. I love it. We always on the lookout. Oh, you know.
Head on the swivel.
I love you. Stay there.
Love
Don't
you.
go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. And then last but not least, let's go to Vegas. Are we still in Vegas? Are we still in Vegas? Are we still in Vegas?
We
All
still
right.
in Vegas. We
We're
still in
still-
Vegas.
Hey,
What's going on, Miss Julia?
yeah, how you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be on here.
Love and Valentine's Day. How's your wife doing?
My wife is doing well. Shout out to my wife. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? She be pushing me, making sure I'm writing, making sure I'm coming up with new topics and
you
all
know
that.
what? We like your wife. I like that. Yeah, I can only push so far in Jeffersonville, Indiana.
We're gonna have to come out there. We're gonna have to come out there.
Yeah, I know. I gotta come out there and see you guys too as well. So
Yes.
so what I want Brooks to pretty much, primary reason why I want him to go last is because he has, oh no, God gave it to him, because he's coming behind, he's revolutionizing the greats, and I want him to introduce his poetry style, and I hope you enjoy it. I love the creative process, and I love when people are being creative. It's different. It's different than anything you're going to hear. You already heard this evening, but I want him to really kind of introduce his unique genre. It's nothing new in the sun. That's what the Bible says, but we're revising it and revitalizing it. So take it away, Brooks. This is your correct website for people
Yes.
in the store. Payhip.
Yes, payhip.com. This is what I'm gonna be reading off of. This is the preview that I'm gonna be reading off of on this website. So when you go to this website,
Let's go.
I'm just gonna let them know. My name's Poetry. I do have 2 poetry books, Scattered Thoughts and Scattered Prayers. They're both on Amazon. But like she said, we're gonna introduce my short story. It's called The City of Gold, and it's a short story, all rhyme. And on this website, payhip.com/TLK Poetry. This is the only one that you can actually read and listen. So it's audioable, but I'm just going to be doing the audio for you. But when you download it, you'll be able to hear background noises. So when I'm saying the waves is crashing on the ship, the waves crashing on the ship. Shout out to Mr. K. Don, the producer that produced that. So here we go. It was a joy to his ears as he heard the cries and the moans. His crew set fire to all the town's homes, raiding in houses and palaces. Our action is malice. We are the last pirates, living in violence, dwelling in private, conquering town after town. Our fear comes in silence. We come to take. Every time our life is on a line, who wants it more? When facing the eyes of death, who will cleave to life? Are you ready for that type of fight? Pirates, this city is ours, she said. The crew chanted loud chants, drinking to their heart's content. The city of gold will be next. Her sword was raised in the air. They all heard her declare. In her captain's eyes, she stared. The only time he will get stuck with a glance, his treasure, whom he shares pleasure in, his joy over fiery waters. Skin of dark hue, she knows how to soothe. Filthy pirates, you will feel my pain also. A man saying this right before he let his last hope loose. She was his only target. Oh, how she stood on high, declaring their prize. The captain saw his love fall before his eyes. So many times they conquered together, loved one another. Who has decided to take this piece of me? Running towards his lady, the crew started going crazy. An iron rod went through her organ. City of gold. She was still urgent. Love was speaking blood, a language he never understood. Many of his victims spoken blood, trying to come out with their last words. They usually only come out slurred. My more blood words she was speaking. The captain was frustrated because he was not understanding what was love saying. He was thinking, not like this. His crew started screaming. This man took your love's last breath, laying his last sense of humanity on the ground. Around, they could hear the fiery, crackly sound. The man looked the captain in his eyes and said, "You will feel my pain too. You took what was mine." The captain recognized an emblem. He was a representative of the city of gold. Calmly, the captain said, "You will suffer for what you have taken." Calmly, he said, "You will suffer for what you have taken. Your curse will be you have survived. Tonight will play in your mind, wishing you died. Trust me, you will live in grief. I will keep you alive." One more page. His crew heard their captain's roar. "Take what you want, to the city we go." This town took his lady. They acquired riches. He lost his reason. Any cling to humanity, he was leaving. Tonight he saw his love bleeding. She was conquering, then died. The world will know of the real pirates this time. The heat rises from the lava. The armor we wear gives us no problems. We protect these seas. I'm the captain like my father before me. We are the outlaw bandits. We who protect the city of gold. Our story has been told. And it was written in gold. Adventures fighting off the last pirates. Times have changed. We are bandits. The city still hates us, but they need us. The last of defense, the ones who don't play by the rules, their army, then us to protect the city of gold. Thank you.
Come on, City of Gold.
The city of gold.
So the beauty of that is that I can visualize that. I can see it. I can hear it. I can feel it. So it's really taken to the next level. It takes on that visual of Odyssey, that stuff they made us read in high school that was really confusing. But
yes,
Brooks makes it such that it's not as confusing, and we're looking at a television show or a movie. So both. We speak that into existence, right? You're on the
novel coming soon. Novel coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah.
Novel coming soon.
He's a writer for sure. He walked in. Oh gosh, I guess it's 5 years ago now. We were in a bookstore in a mall. We had a
4
years. No, it's 5 because that was
2020. 2019 when my grandma passed away. November 2019. So
he walks in, says he's a poet. I said, okay, you all that, spit something. And the rest has been history, and 2 full books and a lot of poems later, and a short story. And he gets something started and says, "Miss Julia, no, that's not it. Let's start something else. Miss Julia, that's not it. Let's do something else." But we have seen the growth. We're so proud of Brooks.
Thank you.
Dr. Nettles came on. She said, "Where's Brooks at?" I said, "He's on his way. I promise. He's on the West Coast, so he's like 3 hours behind us." So
yes,
he's on his way.
I had to run. I had to make sure I made it. And shout outs to all of the authors that's on this. Oh my gosh, we come with heat. Poetry month. Heat.
Poetry month is heat. Okay, so I gotta ask this question. So be sure and find, let me take Brooks's information down. Be sure and find all of the poets that are on. But I got a couple minutes and I did really want to ask a question or two. So it doesn't matter who goes first. But really what happens first? Because I know a lot of people, they used to say poetry is dead, but it's not. It is still yet alive. And I just was on a call today, as a matter of fact, with somebody who's writing poetry. So people still write poetry and all of that good stuff. But for those of you who are published and about to be published again and have been doing this for a long time, and those who think they want to write poetry and still have everything in the spiral notebook, that's how I started too, in spiral notebook. So what really happens first? Just real short, because there's a few of us on here and we've got about 10 minutes before we go. But what really starts first? Do you get the title first, or do the words just flow out, or do you have a team
I would
and
love
sit
to
down
answer
and go?
that.
Go ahead, you start.
I think for me, it starts in my heart. I can work on one poem for a couple of days. So there is no rhyme or reason. I just have to have a lot of pens around, a lot of paper around. And I don't always finish it, but it starts. I write longhand. I couldn't write.
Okay, you breaking up on me. Okay, Miss Zenobia, I'm gonna have to go on. Somebody else want to jump in? What happens first?
It's all about from the
I
inside.
did.
Hold
I
on,
see.
let Miss June go
I
first.
see
and then I'll
words
come back
in.
to you. Hold on.
I see
one
words
second.
in my peripheral vision. Oh, sorry.
Okay, no. Go ahead and finish. So you get the words in your
Can't hear
peripheral
you.
vision. Oh, okay. You can't hear me. So you get the words in your So Leslie Gwitty says she gets the words in her peripheral vision. June, how do you get what you get first?
Well,
In my peripheral vision. I don't know how it's gonna.
Okay, and June, what do you get next?
Well, I look at Psalms as 150 divisions of somebody's poetry. I mean, it flows. It comes from within, but it connects to something else. And so I feel like it's a gift. I was very introverted, and God gave me something that drew people to me because I wasn't going to go to them. So He gave me something. So it came from up, then it came within, and then it came out.
Right. Dr. Nettles?
Well, lately it depends on, it's situational. The last few poems I've written, other than my Happy Valentine's Day, have been memorial poems. And I get an opportunity to hear people's heart about their loved ones. And then that's how I write a poem that is a tribute to them.
Miss Vivian, where you go?
For me, it is looking at life and how it connects to my heart. And I can be in my car. I don't have to be in an office or anywhere. I keep paper pads in my car. If I'm driving, sometimes I will pull over when I see something that is very unique to me, and then I will create it from that.
Yeah. I speak it in my phone. So I'm one of those, when I am driving, I just hit the record and speak it in my phone. Brooks, you got so many ideas. I don't know where you tell us.
All above. It's been titles. Right now I'm working on a poem called Martin X, and before the poem has been finished, the title is there, and the title is not changing. Sometimes it's like some of the people said, it's from the heart, where it's just, you dwell on it, you guys got to speak it. I think it's all the above. It's any way, how you when you just feel it, and whenever you feel it, just write it however way it comes. If the title comes, then start writing from that title. If it comes from the heart, just spill it out that way. That would be my suggestion.
All right. Yeah, whatever. I'll just say get it down. I don't care if you're speaking it. I don't care if you're
just
writing
get it down.
longhand. I don't care. I'm really a typer and an audio, but just to get it down. So therefore, my biggest thing is, even if you write longhand like Ms. Zenobia, and sometimes that's where I start as longhand, you eventually, before it gets published, you gotta type it. So that's my next suggestion to you, is that you still, after you write it, after you worked on it a while and looked at it and reviewed it and done your own critique and edit of it, type it out and put them all together. Some are in me. I try to put them all in one document, but other people do it differently, and it comes at different times, and it happens over years because I've gotten poems from I say you need like 40 to 50 for a book, and they have all kinds of dates. When I did Miss June Harden, she had all kinds of dates on it. Dr. Nettles, they got all kinds of dates on them. They can be older or new or last week or yesterday or 10 years ago. But one of the beauties of poetry is that it is timeless. It's one of those genres that's really, really timeless, especially if it comes from the heart and it really flows out of you. It is timeless. Okay, so let's switch gears from the writing piece. So I hope that helps somebody who's listening, whether on the replay or you'll hear it air later, that you actually just get it down. The next thing is, if someone's written some poems, but they're not published, what would you suggest a new poet to do first? What do you suggest somebody new?
I would suggest, because what I've always done, I struggled with self-esteem. So I would find somebody and I would say, will you listen to this and tell me what you think? That's just me. Even if I know it came from the heart, I need to hear what somebody else had to say. And the only thing that made me start writing books is people, they liked it.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it for my own therapy. But when people listen to it, they say, oh my goodness. And so get somebody else's opinion. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to take their opinion, but hear what somebody else has to say.
Right. Anybody else?
I agree with Miss June. This is Viv, because if you are going to read your work in an audience, in front of an audience, it's good to get that practice of feeling comfortable in reading to someone else and looking at them and seeing what their feedback is. Not that you have to agree with them, but it just gives you that comfort level in speaking in public.
That's right.
And then also researching a good publisher like Dr. Julia Royston.
Yay.
Well, they're having somebody confirm or enjoy your poetry. I really think that is important to me. Leslie, go ahead. I think there's a delay.
So what I did was I gathered all my poems together because, when you write poetry or when you write, you have one over here and one over there. So I suggest that people just gather all their poetry together, and also look for a good publisher. I found Julia at the choir convention. That's where I found it. So to look for a good publisher and speak to them to see where their heart is.
Right.
For your book.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Brooks, you go next.
If you write and you're not published,
peripheral vision, and I have to write it down.
I say, call Miss Julia.
Write it long-handed.
Hold on, Leslie. Go. What you say, Brooks? Call me.
I said, if you write and you're ready to be published, call Miss Julia. That's all I say.
Yes, sir.
Call Miss Julia. Reach out to her. If you have it and you're ready to be published, call. That's all I gotta say. She'll take care of the rest. She'll take care of the rest.
But in addition to that, though, Brooks performs. Vernette, Dr. Nettles performs. June Harden performs. They speak. So yes, I can get you together with a book, and I'd be happy to. And reach out to me, talkwithroyston.com. But on the mean side, on your side, I don't need you to hide it and put it up under the thing. So if you have an opportunity to write for a specific occasion, which I know June Harden has for years, and so does Dr. Nettles does. They write for occasions, so therefore they're actually on the stage speaking the poetry. Some people like to hear it spoken. Brooks is the same way. He's been on all kinds of stages reading his poetry. So I need for you to really kind of get outside your comfort zone. No, don't read the whole poem online or read a piece. Read something that people get and acclimated to hearing you and hearing your poetry and knowing that that's the business side of me talking now.
Right.
Not just the publisher side, but the business side of me, so that you get the jitters out. Now I'm gonna tell you, I have sang since I was 8 years old. I am currently 60. I'll be 61 in May 29th, my birthday. And every single time I do, like tonight, anything I do in front of other people, I'm always nervous. If I'm not nervous, I make myself nervous.
That's
still
right.
butterflies. Still butterflies.
But I do that that is my comfort zone. That is my because that means I need God. I need to pull on God, and I'm not walking in my own strength.
Amen.
That's why I do that, so that I pull on God. Question? Somebody said something?
No,
Yeah,
I just
did.
wanted-
It's Zenobia. Can you see me or hear me still?
No, I can't see you. So,
But you can hear me. You
I can hear you. Go ahead, and then
Good,
Dr.
good.
Nettles will be
I
next.
have, one tip. I do a lot of, not a lot, but I'm more comfortable reading my poetry, and that's my ultimate goal. But if you're nervous and you get up to read, and I tell this to all poets and people that want to do this, don't announce that you're nervous. Don't get up there and first thing you say is, I'm nervous. Because the only person that knows you're nervous is you. So you'll need to tell the world. You just be yourself. I think people can pick up when you're speaking from your heart and when you're being yourself.
Yeah. Dr. Nettles, go next.
Well, I wanted to piggyback on something someone else said earlier. You do want to gather your poems together, but you also want to begin to reread them one by one, because you want to feel the energy of each poem from when you wrote it, so that you can create those themes. And you can, as you're creating the themes and rereading, you're also editing. Because once you feel that energy of the words that you wrote, you can tell the direction of your book. And then the pieces will speak to you, and then they will speak the title. So it's so important that you begin to feel the energy from the origins of the piece, so that you can feel the book and the space in it.
Yeah, I highly suggest that you actually, when you're rereading them, that you read them out loud.
Yes.
That you definitely read them out loud, because there's a connection between your mouth, your brain, and your ears. Well, Dr. Griffiths can tell us what that is, but I just know my brain is what?
Neuroscience.
It's neuroscience. Okay, see,
it's also to connect by writing first.
Yeah, see, neuroscience. I gotta remember that. It's your brain, your ears, and your
Miss Julia.
Yes.
Before we all close out, because I know it's about that hour, could you do your poem? Can you recite? Can you recite? I want to hear what you got to say.
And can I say one thing before you do, Julia?
Yes.
Can I ask you, when you do your work, protect yourself, okay? Because before I knew my work was any good, there are people that heard my work and they made money off of it. So always protect yourself, cover yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, protect. Don't let everybody have it.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright. That's what Miss Julia come in. Copyright.
I love Bruce. Bruce is like the nephew I didn't have, because most of my cousins is girls, but Brooks is the nephew God brought in my life when he walked in that. Okay, so real quick. So this is it's a short one. I'm just gonna read it. It's fresh oil. So hold on. Fresh oil. I have poured out fresh oil. It's not because of your work, pain, or toil. My grace is upon you. My favor is brand new. I'm your God, and you desire to be mine. No more waiting. This is the time. The season is here, so have no fear. Write the vision, strategize the plan, turn up the heat, wave the fan. The fires of passion in a servant burn hot. So move forward for the kingdom or get off the pot. I have given knowledge and information so great to guide you through doors and many gates. Now the anointing is come. Just say yes, for
Yeah.
you're the one. I promise I won't leave you never alone. I'm right there with you, omnipresent and always on the throne. Listen to my voice, dear child of mine. I'll love you forever. Your Father, so divine. That's it.
Woo! Yay!
That's my publisher. That's my publisher.
Julia, I had no idea. Girl,
I'm telling you, that's my publisher, Miss
oh
Julie.
my goodness. Woo! What? Two snaps? Two snaps? Come on, y'all.
Steps up. Y'all, you're nuts tonight. Oh my Lord.
Oh,
Oh, don't play. Don't play.
beautiful, beautiful,
Don't play
beautiful.
with the pub. Don't
Love it.
play with the poets. Don't play with the poets now.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
This
Okay,
has been
beautiful.
a pleasure. This has been
Right.
got people watching
That's
from
awesome.
everywhere.
Shout out to my mama.
This is that your mama?
Yeah, my mom. You know what I mean? Shout out.
I'm poetry's mother. Hey, mom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We have to meet up sometime. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Gwen over there in Virginia. So glad.
What's going on, Miss Queen?
So much.
That's my wife.
That's your wife? Watch out now.
Poets, I love you. Poets, I love you.
Hey, Miss Monette. Hey, thank you. Hey, down in Florida. Hey, Miss Ross Jones overseas.
Yeah.
So glad.
Shout
glad.
out.
Thank you so much.
Hey. It's been a pleasure. It has been fun. It has been real. Thank you all so much for being with us
Hello.
this evening. Follow the poets, be with us, support them, and continue to follow them on social media. Go to their website, sign up for their email list, all that good stuff. And you all be blessed. Good night, everyone. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, praying today and tomorrow and always that you enjoy poetry and you live your best life. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. I love you.
Bye-bye.